black of them.
Okay then, peeps. Last to do. If you can mute yourselves. I think I've only got a Rolly coming on later on. Give us a little input. Good evening to you all. Hope you have missed me. I've missed putting these together. And just got away with this lot. I uploading. Had visitors this afternoon. Gordon Bennett. And he rode up. Rolly mentioned me earlier on. Hi Mick. I know I made but a question for a discussion. Has anybody else found Dendrobinia worms too large to migrate up in a can of worms wormery? So let's have a closer look on that one. And if we can see there, obviously that's the can of worms wormery. There's different hole sizes. So there's a babby, you can get through alright. But there's the big boys. As you can see, them struggling. Anybody else got a wormery? Ever noticed that? Or do you have a problem with the hole size? You can come in any time, it don't matter. If anybody got any questions on anything, just send them me through the post. And we can sort them out for next week. Sorry, Paul. Another delivery. This is a canner. I've learnt my lesson now, i.e. Not getting my canners off eBay or most of the crap. Because most of them are just ragwarts dishing out crap. So this one, hotplantco.uk. Decent company. That's the one I had. Can of Pretoria. That's what he hopefully look like next year. As you know, my canners are like my variegated leaf. And the flower as well as he is there. So we'll see how he goes. Another good one is Todd's Botanics. They do everything and all. There's dahlia plants, olive trees, bearded iris, the lot. But they're reputable, i.e. a decent company. That's all I'm sticking with now. Right, if you remember last year for me runner bees, up back of the shed, where I had, well, never done nothing with it. And I walloped the wall and the shed in white emulsion, and I used them 2 trays there to be runners. And I worked it out, I bought 3 more from down at Cradley 5 ways. Basically, them buttons was underneath to keep them level, because there's a bit of a slope here. So them are coming out, and these are going in. These are wider and deeper, meaning I'll have a better brew. If I've got a good brew underneath, I should have a better brew on top as well. Walking down the side of there with 3 this end, I can get through, but I couldn't get another one down there, and it'd be a bit of a struggle to get around that corner, obviously when the stuff's growing in here as well. So I can get away with 1 old and 3 new ones. Perfect lengthwise that way. So the gods looked after me on that section. Because I've got to elevate these as well. I've got an old brew snails in the garage, and that one is perfect. Good length for there. To look after him, I'm going to wallop him in cover him in black tape. Just look after the timber. Last a bit longer than what he does. Right, getting this stuff out from last year. Still loads of worms in there. I'm keeping that'll come in later on of last year's brew. It's a bit blurred, but I'm getting all the gump out, basically, which I have done there. Any roots and bits out of that lot, I don't need. All I need is the goodness out of there. Do you remember I started off with the rabbit muck on the bottom, then it was wood chip mixed with manure. Anybody got any questions anytime, just come in, put your hand up or just shout up. So the worms right out of there went back in the compost heap. Got rid of all the crap. Go back on that one again. This is obviously the base, but for the plugs that they haven't opened up. I missed them last year, putting these together. So open them up. I've got a spare in, so every bit of space I want to utilise. So that lot can come out. I can go back at least another 8 inches that road, meaning he can go that way and he won't. It'll be flush with that wall basically. So I'll grow something else there, use that space. If there's anything growing in there, I can get from this side. And anything growing there, there's a fruit tree, I can get from here. But that's still in my brain. Right, sorting these lot out. So to get it level, put my buttons underneath again, as I did before, and the broom prop for these 3 that are going in. Just have a quick practice on them 2. Yep, perfect. Get them nice and level. This was a bit too high, so I took a bit more out there just to get them all the same. And then to keep him nice and still, get some mid pegs and just smack them in, one either end and one in the middle. Keep him nice and steady, because it is round. Perfect. Them are nice and flat, except he's a bit lower than these, so I've got to lift him. So I've got some half plastic trays. These are solid plastic, got the chip stuff you can get, and they will be going that way up either end, just elevating. Because if you look at them, I've just placed him on top of that one and he's level there with this one. Obviously I've got to level that up as well, but that's perfect. So once I bung them underneath, which I have done there, same level, that'll do me. Right, back gardening. I'll start cleaning all this lot up. Quite a few things still growing. Rose, I thought he'd finished twice and he keeps coming back again. And there's no, it's 2 more. Well, having said that, wait till a frost yet. Not even a slight frost. So everything is gonna get going. But my daily top of the garden is finished. So I'm gonna start jobbing them, because our last green bin collection was last week. Well, I'll just bag them up in black bags and put them in the black council bin. I don't know what's inside the bags, I ain't gonna open them up. So I'm deading in everything. So I've chopped my top dahlia. You can see there is the green growth, that's where I've just chopped. And that's last year's growth, with them done nice and solid, all snapped off. The trouble with this now, because it's getting established, is pushing up against this wall, and this wall is bowing away a bit. So I might have to chop, get the spade right down in and clear that side of the dahlia tuber away, if that makes sense. So you dahlia growers, is it best to do that now, or when he starts throwing new growth next season? Yes.
Why don't you lift it now?
Yeah.
And store it for the winter? That's
could do, or yeah.
If you leave it in the ground, with the amount of rain we've had, it'll probably rot.
No, he's been there a few years.
Yeah, but look at the rain we've had.
Mm.
It's the wet that kills them. The wet, the cold, wet weather.
You can always, when it starts into growth, then you take your cuttings and you probably get 2 dozen cuttings off that, and you've got loads more plants, and they'll make good good plants in the first year, certainly.
Yeah. Oh, I think I will get him up
Yeah.
because I've got to look after that wall.
If you get it up, Mick, store it upside down so that all the moisture drains out of those holes.
We'll come on to the others later on. So that's chopped in. Where we're going? Working the way down. These was chopped down when they're finished. And they're throwing growth again. So I'm going to chop. In fact, they're still throwing new growth off the bottom again. So I'm just chopping them as well. And the bottom dahlia there, the jobbing and all, which we have done there. Which just when they're finishing off. Right, my old tray, because of the size of the holes on these, I'm throwing pebbles in. And then covering them smaller pebbles. That's a bit of drainage, but it'll stop them holes getting blocked up, hopefully. Right, this photo was taken because next year I was going to do a sweet peas, but I joined a sweet pea group on Facebook 2 weeks ago. Started looking at them, and one of the top exhibitors, I've been through his profile, obviously befriended him. Then I click on his profile and just have a look through his photos, and some of the sweet peas he exhibited this year at the shows, really superb. So I've been racking his brains. Basically, I sent him this photo, that's where I'm pointing to that bed, and saying hopefully I want to grow sweet peas in this raised bed next year for our show. Turn him with the basically all I wanted is how do I prepare the bed before I put in and whatever. And he come back and said, you will never grow good exhibition sweet peas in a raised bed. I thought, crap, that's that bit out the window. So it's a good job I got in touch with him. So on that one, that's a plan B. Right, something else in the post. Sorry, Paul, mate, something else in that compost king report there.
Actually, that sounds like a challenge, Mick.
It bloody is and all.
Aye.
I'm still doing him. We'll come back onto him later on.
Oh, yeah. Prove him wrong.
Raspberry all gold. All my fruits I've had, like I'm looking at them from this, harvest from mid-August to early October. Good for me, because our show is first Saturday in September. Produces fruit on first year, good. Self-fertile, good. This is what I'm looking at with all fruit. I've got my normal rasps. So looking at these, I've got to fill them up. Right, this is the stuff I had out of the raised beds, which was down the side of the house. There's a good brew in the bottom there. This was manure, everything. I'm adding a bit of manures to it. So that's me giant tortoise muck. I've still got a bit left in there, breaking that up by hand. And that alpaca muck, there's all sorts, and that lot is getting mixed up. These are all my brews out there in the greenhouse as well. So that lot was in the bottom, just covering the two, say 2 inches. And then there's me mixed muck going in and all. Beautiful stuff. I'm filling up with the top brew. That's the alpaca muck. It's got to be broken a bit more. So that's about I'll fill them and him. So they've got a decent brew in them. And I've still got Rowley's brews. So I'm using all these as well. And it's basically a jug full. And then mix them all together. That's why I've got my different brews up there. So a jug of everything thrown into there, mixed up, gives me that lot. Beautiful stuff. That's ready to give it. So one jug of everything goes into there, and that's the end result mixed. So then we're going in here filled, perfect. Raspberries, let's open them up, have a nose of them. You can either get these bare root, or you can get them in pots. Raspberries usually bare root, but fruit trees, anything like that, you can get them bare root. Obviously they'll be cheaper, or you can get them established in a pot. Usually 2.5 litre, 3 litre pot or something. Victoria Nursery. I had a nose round for these, and these got good write-ups. And this is what they come in. I will have a look at the growing mediums. I mean, although I'm bare root, I've still got to keep them moist. And these was wrapped in this stuff, and it's basically wood chip, which we all know is a good brew. Well, it's a natural product. If they're too big, bung them around your stuff. Right, reading up on these, they're not deep root plants, meaning they're surface plants. If you look at those 2 roots there, on in and in, they go down further and then legging it sideways, meaning have they hit summit and legged it out that road, because I've had that with a blackberry. Because these are going down deep, well, deeper than them anyway.
What they do, Mick, they send out suckers, don't they, to the side?
Yeah, I know that can come up bloody miles away.
Yeah, they go for miles.
Yeah. Grandchild, having 5. Right, I'm spacing these out. I'm having, for some reason, I only send them out in 5s. It's usually 6s, so I've got 5 of them. But these are 15 inches apart. And planted the same depth. You can work out, see where they go up. Obviously upright, then I firm them in and just pushing the growing medium in. That's how they come. Once I'm firm and planted, knock them back down to 10 inches. And then give them a good soaking. That one there was getting a bit dark, I could just see. This one, I'll put the flash on. Go back on that one. It don't look dark there, but it is. In fact, looking up there, I couldn't make nothing out. Show how nice. Right, little, this is last week. Never had a T-bone steak, me or the missus. These was on special offer, £5. Couldn't resist it. So bought 2 on them. Beautiful. Googled it best way, and it's basically frying, flash frying. And the taste is superb. Just let them cool off a bit. But the meat was busting. Probably the only time we'll ever have them. So that was a good buy for us. Look at that. The only thing that's missing off there for me is mushrooms. Busting bit of meat. And the hound was dribbling all night. Right, loads of fruit places about now. It's time to get it. You've got room to bung them in. Pomona fruits, if they've got the trees I want, or i.e. fruiting for our show, because they bring new ones out every year, cross-pollination, whatever. But I've had quite a few from pomona fruits. Crap. I'm trying to get rid of that bloody thing in the middle, that's it. Right, me Ryan, potato gin. This is a good one, that's why I've done it again. This was 6 months ago. It's clear, so my corks, before I start doing everything, never got to be soaked for a couple of hours. So they expand when you bung them in your ferret. All I've got left is 4 bottles and a jug. But see how many we get out anyway, because there ain't much gump on the bottom. Knowing more, I've got to get 5 bottles out and I ain't got there. You can see the gump there, there ain't too much in there. Nice and clear. Obviously, no disturbance of the gump from the bottom. But it's coming out well. Good job I did have my jug ready, because I filled that up as well. He's a different size bottle to him, but it don't matter. It's our schedule. If you I used to show wines the West Brom show as well, which was a big show, a proper big one. And they had a proper wine judges, and they're sticklers for sizes of bottles, and you can't have inverts in the bottom of the bottle. But it's just got to be a clear bottle, that's it. So it's dumber than what they have. It's obviously getting space more. We'll come on to that in a bit. But I managed to do them for, and he went in the fridge overnight till I get some more bottles. So corks was pushed in, all done. I started getting my labels out. I've only got a few of these left, so I had to go back on the internet and order some more. That was these I had for my jams and whatever. But I've run out, so I've got to use them on the wine. Then my normal wine ones, the last left out off eBay. Perfect. Right, this is down ours, Owen. Ben was up a while back from London, and he went and see Dudley Council. And he's got the contract for doing their Christmas cards this year, i.e. cartoon form. And they've also put this up for him in ours in town centre. Alice Holmes, that's the disabled people. That's still got they've still got a plot on our site. They've still got it down there, Alice Holmes. And this was up last week. He's obviously still up there now. But Boston. He's even got the old man on there. He's a good lad. The oldest.
Thought that was you on the swing with.
Hey,
Thought that was you on the swing on the rope.
cheeky bugger.
Okay.
He's also got Aaron in. His best mate, who died of cancer. And there he is. He come home like went back a couple of days ago. Been up for we had to go to Dudley Council and a few other people, which we'll come on to later on as well. So I had his photo took with his one of his bits. Right, because I've had trouble with these canners getting viruses off the internet, off Tom, Dick and bloody Harry. I'm also on the International Canner group. It's made a lot I was on the road all afternoon, just got back home. I sent him a few pictures, as you can see. In the first 9 pictures, only Queen Charlotte looks infected with the virus. And there's a photo he sent back, because I sent him a photo of all of them. So I complained to the chap on Amazon who had it off. And he's come back that that's how the leaf is supposed to be. So I went back to Sylvain. He's from Canada. He's a proper canner. He's an international exhibitor, grower and everything. So he knows his stuff. And basically just tell him he's full of crap. Asking for your money back, so I'm still fighting him. And there's a virus, you can see it in the leaf, but you've got to get rid of them. It's got a chance of spreading to something else. So he went in the green bin. And just in case there's something in the pot, he went in the black bin. Right, I don't get much compost to make up nowadays because there's only me and the missus. But I'm still brewing. And there's a brew ready to go in. Carpets out, composting if it needs it, water it after I've levelled it. Carpets back on, water them. Liquid osmoc. That's my high nitrogen feed. Right, my compost bin won't have a frost yet, but it's going to start getting cold soon. I said that, and just said we're going to have another warm week again with rain. So my black and white plastic is coming out, auto plastic, meaning it doesn't deteriorate. Just take my door off, show me brew in the middle on it. So wrap him round, cut him in half because this is off a roll and it's 6 foot wide. Only need 3 foot, so I've got 2 lots out of it with his brew. Went to me dinner. This has been brewing 24 hours. So I'm feeding everything again, indoor plants. They're still growing anyway. He's telling me he needed watering, so I bought him outside and all. Right, back to my bin. I'm taping this black plastic onto the bin itself. Black tape from Wilco. I'm going to get some more of that in the morning. And this is all dry, so it will stick, except them lot there, which are my mates, young spiders. I ain't going to disturb them, so I'll work around them. So I've just taped either side of them. That's better. The black plastic absorbs the heat when I'm still getting sun every now and then, but the black absorbs heat. White repels. So I've got white during the summer. So he's finished and taped off. Back into the garage. Get some environment out and put all the stuff away. While I'm in there, check my onions. Make sure they're nice and firm. Canners are still growing away. He's ready to throw another flower. Can't do all that. Once they get a little frost, which I saw somewhat on the canner group tonight. Different chaps, there's quite a few in the States. There's different areas in there. Zones, I should say. And one's just chopped, which is one of my questions. How far down do you chop them? I might leak that photo and put it on next week. But a bit of black paint is what I need for the top of the bin. So I've got some left. It's got to be dry. So I'll wallop the top of that. That's it. Look after me babbies. Stop them getting too cold. Rolly, your 3 bags. If you want them back, I'll bung them down to you. You'll have to let us know, mate.
That's all right, Mick. I've got 20 or 30 of them.
Oh yeah, good man.
Plenty of fly tippers down this end.
Oh, they bung the lot and the.
Oh yeah, that's how I get them. They put 2 of them complete with all the compost and just the stem of the weed in it. Put them in a dustbin bag, a black bag, and that's how they do them. Dump them 2 at a time. So you get 80 litres at a time.
Yeah. Cool, dude. Perks. Right, my different bags of wood chip. Any big lumps, I'm going to take out the. Put that brew there. Get off a bag of him. Bit of moisture. That's where I'm putting my big lumps on the borders. But this lot's going to break down beautiful. Right, this was from Wilco online. Because I get me weed suppressant from Wilco. I don't know if that moves. But I wanted, obviously, as you can see here, next day delivery. But it took 5 days to come. So I'm in conversation with them as well. And it's exactly the same as what I had years ago. Lizzie, sorry, I've just saw you, raised hand.
How much is your weed present from Wilco?
I think this was £7 a roll.
Oh, that's not bad.
Because Wilco's got no gardening stuff in now.
Oh.
But I need it for my beds.
Yeah. Thank you.
But of course he done that one. But I think it's 26 foot long by 4 foot wide. No, 27 foot long. Yes, because we raised beds on the plot. Then was 26 foot long by 4 foot. One of these was a perfect size for my raised bed. And it works. So that's what I'm going to do. So these brews here, all I'm going to do is the small wood chip helping it. Some topsoil added to it, give a good watering, holes in the bottom, seal another bag up, bit of string, and then just throw it down the back on top of my leaves again and let that break down. There's something else. Right, even better, because these I've got a few of these large tubs. They're nice and solid, nice and big. I've cleared that tray out and I've got a bung in there. And either me cherry tree will go in there and I'll get away with him. In fact, I'll bring him out another 6 inches or something. So my brain is in that mode at the moment. Get rid of the tray. Right, the bags from the greenhouse are going in the tunnel to give me room in the greenhouse. And quite a bit more stuff is going in. I've got to clear this lot out, ready to take me canners, peach and everything else. So where it starts turning crap. Well, the compost bin cover, because that was the same size as the one I put on my bin, he'll do. But when the other one gets, you shouldn't get ripped or you ain't going to deteriorate. Or I've got to spare them. Peach Bonanza. He's coming in before the frost comes. Them 2 blueberries, and they're going in the tunnel as well. And this one here, Scott Polyanthus, Pearl Double. Got a flower head on it.
Oh, lovely.
So he's going in the greenhouse. Protection. See where I've lifted the pot there? I told you you've got a good brew underneath. Activity worms. Exactly the same as I lift that straw. Worms. Just holds in the moisture. If you got the moisture, you know the worms. So slowly I'm bringing all the babbies in as well as my bags out the greenhouse. Bougainvillea. I've done well in this bed, and me 2 dahlias. In fact, everything's done well in it. And he is still flowering and growing away. Nice dark green new growth. Well, there's a new growth, but established leaves, I should say. But I know as soon as I don't want the frost to job him, because he's quite a good standard now. But there he is. I'm just going down there to get to the base of him, which I've taken the growing medium away, and you can see the pot, the rim of the pot there. So I'll just take him out, obviously 2-handed because of the weight on it. And there he is. So he'll have to be moved to a bigger pot next year. But perfect now. Now I've got rid of the grow bags out here. It's ideal in the end of my greenhouse. Just to protect him. There's no heat in there, but it's just a cold greenhouse protection. So this is looking from the top end going down. I've got these 2 bamboo in pots. Probably put them in the Bring a Boy garlic club this year. So I put these here for a bit of growth on the back of the bed when you're looking down there, for too much grew in front of them. So I'll get rid of them. But I've put them in the tunnel along with the blueberries just to look after them over winter. Right in the garage, I've got to get me environment down. So this is looking up. I put these in yonks ago just to hold me different nets up, and I got some beams. I thought I could put extra stuff on the top here for storage. Environment which I used to use down the pot. Paul, if you want any environment, I've got another bag on it. I can use that.
Yes, please. Yes, please.
But it's stuff like here, this roll, and me black and white. It's just out the road up there. I used to use this for me Gladys and staging all me. What's it about? I've gone off the stuff now. There's a name for it either. A phone. If anybody wants that, you can have it. So I've got my fuss lot out. Basically, what I want to protect is my Cape Gooseberry. The blackbird is doing well. He's got new growth on him since planting him out. 2 lines coming up, that's all I need. Right, let's get the first one out of the bag. Luckily, the first one. Just roughly putting him where I want him, just to see if I've got enough just to cover the frame. Perfect. So I've still got the plastic on at the back of this frame, like I have on that one. You still got the back on the 2 sides. All the tops have come off and the fronts are open. So these 2 sides are open and the front. So I'm going to staple that to the timber. What's the hound legged it in my environment bag and all. Loves a bag. There's a good pickpocket now and all. That's just a photo of me dahlias before I take the flowers off. It was a good sunset. So I'll keep that in focus on my flower. Spot your flower one. Right, perfect. So I've stapled that back, pulled it tight, and stapled on the front there. Basically just pulled it tight. That's going to keep the frost off. I've never heard of anybody overwintering these, or usually they just keep for a year and then start again year after. But reading up, there's a few said if you do protect them, because we don't get the frost what we used to, they should carry on. Which I'm still picking fruit off these. So, well, I said that way into the frost yet. The first little frost might jog them. Right, all I've got to do now is top dress these. So the rabbit muck I have got, I'm taking that out by a double handful, and then I'm rubbing that through, meaning any big lumps there I'm breaking up. Plus I'm breaking the straw up. Then I shall mix this lot again. So I'm mixing everything up. Although there's no strength in rabbit muck or alpaca muck, if there is any big lumps stuck together, well, you're just distributing it better. And a ½ inch top dressing. This is so cold water in the greenhouse. I don't want to give me a checking growth or nothing, so I boil a kettle up. Just bung 1 jug in your watering can. And it just takes that coldness off. Just look after the chaps. Right, England wheelchair rugby. The final had played France. Superb game. First time this has been televised ever. BBC 2 this year. But it's like murder ball. They played brilliantly. Boston. That's how chuffed they was. He was in tears, good lad. But a Boston game. We had a man of the match and all. Let's get the trophies there, but we'll come on to that again later on. If you get the chance to see that next year, it's on at the same time as all the other rugby tournaments. We'll come on to that later on as well. But brilliant to see. Right, taking the hound for a walk. There's a little worm there, drying up. He weren't completely crisp, so I picked him up, spit on him, warm spit, and then cut my hands and breathed on him. Warm breath, and the chap started twitching. Don't forget, if these are moist, because worms breathe through the skin, if they dry out, they'll die. That's what he was doing. So I brought the chap back. Once I knew he was alright, then I bunged him back on the grass. Right, my Josterberry and Goji berry. Sorry, John Murphy. John, give me these. But I'm getting them to me mate Paul. I'm not fruiting for me at the right time. and the sensor ain't got room for him as well. So I'm going to a good John. You all know that.
Yep.
So Paul come up for him, and he gave me a brew of his beer, his unmade beer. That's it there, and it is a Boston brew. I used to brew beer when I first started off in the old house because we had a cellar in the old terraced house. And Paul, your beer is better than what mine was. So hats off to you, boy. Brilliant.
That's great. Great to hear.
And this is in return. I gave him my sample. Now he's thinking, now is that mixed sample or a sample of his wine?
Well, his sample is wine, definitely. It was absolutely lovely.
But he liked it. That was the leftovers from the potato gin. Right, this chap, I've had him about 4 years now, might be 4th year, and he's doing great. He's still doing great. But I saw this on the internet and nicked it. I thought, look at that, Boston, love him. And somebody's bonsai'd him. Because when I used to bonsai, you could bonsai anything. And Boston, little chap. Oh, crap. Well, like him. Well, my chap in the greenhouse needs a trim. So I pruned him down a bit. That's a bit better. Probably carry on flowering until he does get a bit cold. But it's just protection, looking after them. Right, started now cutting back on the trailing scented petunias. That's what was all around here. And that was a trial last year. Obviously for this year, getting a trailer to cover the timber. Obviously the more colour you get, the better. And they worked perfect this year. So I should be doing the same again next year. And being scented, it's a bonus. But obviously they're going to come up. And that lot, when I walloped this fence last year, when we had the new fencing, I got the other side to do and this bed as well, and the same stuff. That's a tubby I got me Paul from B&Q.
Those Alstromelias, they're rather tall, Nick, aren't they?
The what?
The Alstromelias are tall over the
Yeah.
top of the fence.
Oh, good brew under the Irish. Right, there's a couple of mould growing under here when it's been damp, but they come up easy enough with the scraper. Just bung them in the black bin. Right, my dahlias have got to come out, so any flowers, take them off first. Put them in the light for us so the public can see them. I got told off because I couldn't see them. You can see there my structures, that's the weight of the dahlia. Just pulling over me frames. They did good bloody loop though. That's another lesson I've learned this year. Cut back on the growth so they don't take over everything. But they was Boston plants. Saw this little chap, obviously fast asleep. There he is. So I picked him up, plugged him in the greenhouse on one of the small astros. Looked after him. Right, this was last Saturday down the shed. Luckily, Boston day weather-wise, as you can see, blue sky, sun was out. It's usually when it's piddling down, the rain comes from this side and the wind, just straight in the bloody shed. We have to shut them doors. But got away with it last Saturday and yesterday. But I needed some more rabbit muck with a straw. Spent tops, that's how good it is. It don't last long. One delivery a week, I had that organised for. You use your straw and I'm going for the straw. That's what I want. Plus down here, there's little babbies in, worms. So I've got me 3 decent sized bags of the rabbit muck and a good dollop of worms in the all rotted stuff. While I'm down the shed, I need some more straight 8-foot canes, the proper 8-foot canes. What we used to have before we lost our contact. Irons Garden Centre in Perrybar, Brum. He get up because of the cost of everything, and he just flogged his place altogether. So we've lost him as a contact. So all the canes we're getting now are the thin ones in bungles of 12, I think they're more 10. But crap. They're gonna hold up bloody runner beans. But I need some for me expedition sweet peas. So I'm sorting out straightens, perks for the job. But that's the canes we're getting now, and thinner than the ones we used to get. So I bung my canes in with my brews, my rabbit mug. Mate who comes down the trading sheds, in fact he gave me one bag last week and another bag yesterday. Basically, if anybody wants any exhibition onion seed, this is for show seed. He gave me a couple of heads there, so I can get the seed off that. Also, there's 8-ounce onion seed, and this is a Golden Bear. He's been using that seed for 20 odd year, and he swears by the colour it ends up. So if anybody wants any onion seed, give me a shout. So this lot is filling up with all my stuff. Hound's just having a nose round, as it does. And the extra canes have gone in there as well. Right, 2 empty raised beds. Because I've just cleared that lot, put it in the tunnel. So I've got to sort these 2 out. So that one I've just done in the sense, this is the straw that was put on last year. And you'll see there's most of it broken down and it's gone into the surface. So I'm just forking the rest in, ready for another top dressing. And that one I've just forked in there. Right, this is my chopped dried seaweed. Once it is level, then I've turned it and forked and then top dressing with my seaweed. Anything seaweed based, love it. Then I top dress it with a rabbit muck. Look after the chap. Then I'll give him a good watering because there's no rain forecast. I needed a piddle, so I'll piddle in my jug. Gentlemen, you should all be doing this once a week. If there's any little chaps swimming around, you need to go and see the vet. If it's nice and clear, you'll know you're in the clear. Piddle full of nitrogen. Activator. Water it in. Good brew box. Right, next bed. He's going to have a top dressing, because I forked that lot in. So we'll have a top dressing as well with a rabbit muck, and then a good watering. Right, here's my weed guard. They are 1.5 metre by 8 metre. Produce China. I should have bloody known. Talking about that, I nearly missed this. I watched the second part 2 days ago. BBC 2. Go back on it while I'm talking. It was about China. Basically taking over Hong Kong, which they have done. And I never heard much about this on the news. Well, I don't know how I missed it, or did they put it on? But it was on for 2 weeks, each sesh. About the way they treated Hong Kong. I've been there a few times. I was in the mob, Boston place, Boston people. And basically they've treated them like crap. And we've had quite a few come over. Got away with that in the sense that they wanted to get rid of them because they were troublemakers. China said they were troublemakers. But it's a funny position because the ones who have come over, they've had to leave the parents. What a bloody state to be in. The Chinese and Russians. Anyway, back to gardening. So luckily for me again, the width of my weed suppressant is only about 1/2 inch short. But I could stretch that. Perfect. Gods are looking after me again. Right, to stop these fraying, because I'm going to put my metal pegs through, I just put some black tape through. I've got my old punch from Wilco. Couple of quid. Just bung the hole in. That won't pull. Well, if it does pull, but it ain't going to pull anyway. But I'll just do that on each hole, space them out where I want it to go. He's pegged in, then I put him tight this way. See where the pegs are going. Post in. When I get to the end, just pull that tight. Put my felt pan along. Just cut him out. Perfect. He's had a good soaking beforehand. Meaning that look after him. Keep the cats off. Got a new cat again. I've got rid of my fox. I've sorted that person out. Next bed. Obviously I've got to cut him to measure, but he's nice and tight as well, pegged out. He's had a good watering also before he was covered. It is porous, as I'm just holding up the end of the, what's it there, and that was after a downpour. So to say, once this has been down a couple of weeks, he's had a couple of good dollops of rain on, it will just run straight through. Right, this was the finals of all the rugby. There's our wheelchair lot. So they won France. I think this was Aussie. The men won, and the women. The women's team won as well. And they did all the obviously the last game which I played here. It's got to be the men's final. Where all these come together and they all have the trophies presented at the same time. Brilliant. Well done, boys. There's no Zoom last Sunday because me and my mate Mick and our wives needed away for a couple of days. Cotswold Hotel and Spa. First time this place had been used, we was guinea pigs, I suppose. Jane holidays, used them before. 60s groups, the old ones. That's what we go away to see. So we thought we'd try it. 2-day event, 2-day, 2-night. That's us having the evening meal. Just have an evening meal entertainment. For a small print, always read the small print. 10% off the drinks. But one drink when you get the bill costs a £5 anyway. I think bloody in order. Usually we get these all inclusive. Meals, drinks, everything. So this will be alright. And the first night we got there, we got no beer. That was on the afternoon. So we legged it out for a pint. That was crap. I get used to beer here. I'm a mild drinker. Or cider. Well, obviously, if I stick to the cider or not, I get carried on too quick. That's all like drinking mild, but we had to drink this stuff. And on the night, they had got some in. But look at that, I've only gone 3 inches down the glass. There's no bloody head on it. And it was vile anyway. Jesus, Paul, you need to give them your recipe.
That's secret, those.
This one.
It looks like water.
The good thing about this, the axe was superb. Obviously, them tribute axe, but it was still a black the first one. This is on the first night. Is it Carnaby Street? They was on after, and they was brilliant. They did loads of, covered loads of different songs. Were an excellent night. And there's a women bopping while me and Sal were drinking. We got up later on. I just sit with another 2 couples, tables of 8. And them lot, luckily for me, were drinking wine. So I legged at the bar, put my brain into gear. Clear wine bottles. Need some of them. So I had to go and borrow some of this carrier bag. And this is how much they cost down Wilco. £1.50 a bottle. Oh, Benny. I know I've got the thread on the top, but I've used it before and get away with it. And this was in the hotel itself. And this is hedging they've got up. I thought, look at that. Brilliant. You don't need a gardener. Now they're going to take over, is it? Plastic hedging. Breakfast. Partly breakfast. Then I had some, I like my sausage cooked a bit more for a good brew. Right, next day, because obviously you don't get no dinner, so you leg it out for the day. Really piddling down. Nearest place to go and have a nose was Woodstock. Let's go and have a look at Blenheim Palace. So this is just going into the entrance of Blenheim Palace. As you can see, it's in the background there. But going up, there's 2 attendants here, and it was the Christmas festival. All we wanted to do was have a look around the palace inside yourself, just to kill a couple of hours. I mean, we paid, I don't know, £5-6 each to get in or something. And entrance fee when we got up to these little chaps here, I think it was £28 each and £12 to park the car. I said, what? It's Christmas festival. He says, we don't want to see Santa, we just want to walk around. Oh no, we can't. He says, Christ, how do we get out? He says, you leave us, bloody right, we haven't been holiday makers. From Brum, and we legged it that road out. Go on, Penny. So we had to go and walk around in between the showers. Quaint little place, but expensive. Pretty expensive. Right, found a boozer. We was going to leg it back to our places in, I can't remember. But we found a boozer, Young's beer. Because I paid for it, I got to drink it. I got down to there, and I thought, I still don't like it. In the road, we just legged it in there basically for a sandwich and a pint, ready to go back to the venue, ready for the England match. And I got the menus off them, and there's the main meals, and then I think the saunders are down here or something. But there's no prices anywhere, which I've had that before, tells me I'm bloody expensive. Doreen and Lynn had a half a pint of shandy between them, and they couldn't drink theirs either. It was vile, the beer was vile. I couldn't live round there. Well, I could, but I'd have to drink cider all night.
Oh God.
That's all I could drink of it. I
Looks
left
flat.
mine, and the women left theirs. We just
Looks
couldn't.
flat.
Huh?
Looks flat as no gas, isn't it?
It is bloody flat as a board.
Oh God. How much was that?
I think it was £4.5. So we legged it back for the second night. And the Gladys Knight tribute, she was brilliant. I think it's from Northampton. I have to put the old accent on, but her was great. And after them was the Ragdolls, the main event of the night. That was brilliant. They both did an hour stint. Fantastic. But the entertainment is always good with these venues. Just the venue itself. Next morning, I says, good, do me a favour, go and ask the chef if he'll do me 2 poached eggs. He's a good lad, running and all. So I'll give him a nice write up. Right, this is a 4th century user. Visit Netherlands, dance, have sex, get stoned. Visit Saudi Arabia, same as above. The club set a couple. Right, stables for your labels from eBay come through the post. Different ones as well, very much. Made in China as well. We've got to start buying UK stuff, ain't we? It was a bit dearer. I'm falling out with China slowly. Luckily, Nigel sent me some combs from too big to send out for these lot. So them will be fair. I'm going to ask for some new growers, bloody growers, in our gardening club. I've got 2 already. Get them interested. Sort it out. Thanks for that, Nigel. Squirrels started digging up my bloody beds. Obviously, gonna bury his nuts. I'll bury his nuts if I catch him. Right, chopping down everything else. So my dahlias have gone. Top them. Next one, these in the middle. These were naff in the end. This was a new one as well. Lavateria. This is a Bosley baby. These were supposed to be scented as well. No, they were. Well, they went leggy, obviously, because of everything else surrounding it. But don't want them. So everything else that's in. A chap in the middle there. Potink, is it? Or Potink?
Continue.
Patinia. I call you writing. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Colin.
Robbed nothing.
But he did alright. So chopping him back, and I'm gonna get these out. Just chopped in there. These are me Austromia. These were supposed to be 1, 2, 3. You can see them there. There was a new flowers. They were supposed to be all dwarf. They were bloody through this evening. So I jobbed them and all. That's looking from the other end. Both of them, both the dahlia struts. A couple of gladius I missed. Got them out. There's a little chap growing up the lime crop. He's got to be jobbed and all. He was thick as a... I just tell you. Alstromeria still deadheading. Still pulling the old ones out. These will be going till the first frost. That's why I love them. There's dahlia in the middle. It's going to come out of the middle. These florist buckets, which I have, obviously I ain't used them yet because I ain't put no holes in them. But I'm a Boston size and they're nice and thick, they ain't thin ones. But I use them to carry me if I do a tour. If I donate garden related raffle prizes, I use them to take them in. But I want 2 trays out and my pots ready for getting my stuff up. Dahlias are going to come up. First of all, I need the brooms. I'm going to get all right. So I'll do this Alstromeria first. So we get right in. Just go down 4 sides and lift as much out as you can. Perfect. Bigger grind, medium in the bottom of the pot. Sort him out, look after him. Bung him in. And then just chop this all the way around. These took some taking out, which I'm only getting from 1, 2, 3 ways. Obviously, goes up the corner. But they do come, obviously, eventually. Go and give me my trays. So I've got my tubs in there and my trays. Another one out. The last one out the middle there. He weren't the biggest of the two. So that's all them out. Right, my raised bed. As I mentioned before, whatever raised bed you have, you will get compaction. Although it's only the rain that's compacted it, but it does drop. And that's how much this has dropped from planting out. So obviously, when I started off, he was level. And he will be level again by the time I plant it. The only thing is, I'm burying a couple of the stems of these, or anything up. You'll be alright. These little chaps. But all the rubbish out, well, there weren't no rubbish. Right, this was yesterday down the trading sheds. Last Saturday this year. Took my laptop now because we had a lull. I think I took 50 quid for customers, so it's worth giving. I needed a bit more muck. There's that last lot I took last week, last Saturday. I'd used it all, so I need 4 for spares. So I had another 3 bags. This was obviously knocked down, so I got a good load in the muck bag. Another dollop of worms and all. So that was me doing this Zoom ready for you lot tonight. Just sorting the photos out. Because we was only open for an hour. Don't forget the seeds, anybody wants any. England Argentina lost by 1 point. They was expecting to be on the final when that last photo was taken with all the rugby winners. Nick this off the internet and all 3 leaves in the season clearance. Use them. Ben's photo. Colin sent me this one last week. Oh, might have been
A week ago now, yeah.
We got it late Gladdy.
Yeah.
May all your donuts turn out like that. Funny credit, was it on the telly or the radio? I remember when I was a kid.
On the telly with her husband.
It's got to be black and white now, it wore colour, wasn't it?
I think it was.
I don't think they call the kids Fanny anymore, would they?
She,
Funny Berry, somebody asked me during the week, it's easy to put the photo on. First thing I'm looking at is in self-fertile. When these first come out, you have to have 2 of them to pollinate each other. But this was something I noticed this year. Self-fertile, and that made me mind up for it. Plus, the fruit for our show. This was just pruning. The raspberries be golden. Summer fruiting, obviously, and autumn. Self-fertile again. Just plug in my book again. If you're now a gardener, get my book for Christmas. It's 11 quid, not 12. Old photo. But you've got to put in compost ready in a month. Not just compost, that's a cock up made when I put it on, was it? How strange, all the fish in the English Channel belong to the EU. All the humans found in the English Channel belong to the UK. Beloved. Derek Young, known him a couple of years now, come fuss with his Rubo. couple of years back. I nicked this photo of him. I think he put this on a while back. And I was not come second with him there. And, this was meeting up down Morgan Lake Show. Darren on the left, Muddy Boots. Obviously Nigel. 3 goodness. I'd be a photographer. The 2 Ds come from Stoke. I'll give their gardening club a talk a few years back. So I got to know them too. Nick this and all. Dead snapdragon flowers. Look like a weird skull. Good day at nature. Rowley.
Oh,
He's going to talk us through his input. All yours, Rowley.
okie dokie. A few weeks ago, Mick put up a picture that I sent up of this Ryden composter that's several £1,000s to buy. Well, I decided, I said then, that I'd have a go at making one myself. So this is basically what I'd done. I started, as you can see, with a 200-litre shipping barrel. And I wanted the shipping barrel because it has the sealed end with the clamp on the end. But basically, I started off, cut 2 4-inch holes in, so I could use the ordinary underground soil pipe to make it. So that's the first picture of it. Can we go on? 'Cause it's a bit bitsy, this one anyway. So that's the first picture of it. If it can change. Obviously, I wanted a rotor to be able to chop the stuff up inside once it was in. So I've got the shaft up the middle. It's out of an old grain elevator that I've got laying about. So I've got that. And my lad with his roofing business, they use no end of saws cutting the insulation up. So I went and blagged a few saw blades off of him, chopped them up and welded them to that to make this evil looking machine for chopping the compost up. But you got to start somewhere, ain't you?
Oh.
So then, if Mick goes on to the next one, if he would, please. That's just one end showing how I've sort of fixed it into the barrel. And hopefully the next picture, Mick, please, will show you where it's in at the other barrel, the other end of the barrel. Right, so then the next picture, yeah. What I've done as well is I've insulated the barrel. So that plastic bag looking thing is when you used to have these cold water tanks in your loft, they wrap them around so the frost don't get them. So I started with that and wrapped that round it. The bucket on the top obviously is the inlet where you've got your food waste, and then I mix it. I think I've probably got a picture from there. I'm not sure of that. No, I haven't. I've got a 100-litre, which is half of a 200-litre plastic barrel, with wood shavings in, soaked in liquid horse muck. So I put the, I'll mix it in the bucket first, in actual fact. So the bucket that I've got the food waste in, I put the equal amount of the sawdust soaked in the liquid horse muck, stir it all up, pour it in the top of the barrel. That's what obviously the thing's there for. And if we go on to the next one then, Mick, like I say, it's quite a quick thing, is this. And all that is some more underlay, carpet underlay that I wrap around the barrel to get more insulation to try and get it to a little bit of hot composting. The next one, I'm nearly finished now. The next one is the handle that I made just to keep winding the thing round it inside, to chop it all up. The next picture is where it sits in the barn. The 2 ends, you can see where they're silver at the minute, but they're big, 100 mil. No, I think, yeah, they probably are. Best part of 100 mil of insulation that are stuck on either end of the barrel to seal it up. And you can see on the left-hand side there is a clamp. So if there's any problem, you can undo that. And the same for emptying it. You can undo that clamp and the whole end comes off. So you can get in with a little hoe and rake your finished compost out. Because I only started it on Tuesday of this week, the very last picture that's there, all that shows you is what I tried to take a picture, I took the end off and just took a picture on the inside just so you can see how the sawdust or the wood shavings and the food waste is just getting mixed up. So it's a bit of a watch this space at the minute to see what the end like comes up. But it never cost me £9,000 like Ryden is selling them at.
Brew.
So that's that. But when the finished compost and the project that I'm doing now is I'm building making a hot composter box. So when the stuff comes out of here, I'll put it through a hot composter, and I'm making that out of whatever 3.5 inches is, must be about 80 mil, I should think. 80 mil insulation board that I've been up my son's and blagged enough off of him to make the box to build it out of. So when this is full and I empty it, it will go into the hot composter. And then when that's finished, it will go into a wormery. You know, rightly or wrongly, I don't know whether it'd be a good idea or a bad idea, but I'll put some into a wormery and see how I get on with it. And then, of course, once it's made like that, it'll be mixed in. Well, when it comes out of there, it will be mixed in with the char to make up my biochar, and then that will, the joint thing, you know, the worm castings and the biochar will be mixed into the other composts. But really,
That's going to be a good brew, isn't it?
Oh, it should be, because like,
Yeah.
well, you've seen the biochar, or you've got the biochar
Yeah.
with the liquid manure in it, so you know what it's like yourself, Nick.
Yeah.
So
Brilliant.
that's that, and that's, like I say, today's input. Changing the subject slightly, and well, I'll answer any questions if anybody's got any questions on it, obviously. But the other one I've got a question for Mick, really, is nothing to do with composting at all. When we was talking 2 or 3 weeks ago, he was on about gooseberries and these giant ones, and Jeffrey said about it. I think he has a giant gooseberry competition over there as well as. Have you tried to get any of the gooseberry plants?
Yes.
Did
I've
you
been in
manage to
touch with them. I found out where the older shows, and I'm all early fruiting.
They're all early fruiting, are they?
Yeah.
I mean, I went through and found the names of the plants and all the rest of it, and went through now in the nurseries and all that trying to find any plants. But I think it's a case of they keep it to themselves, don't they? And sort of propagate them themselves.
The last fruiting of the goosegobs is mid-August.
Yeah.
You can't get any later than that. So I'll just get up.
Of the giant ones, like So you never got offered any of the giant plants or cuttings or anything?
Yeah, he says next time you're up here, because we had about 3 emails sent to each other.
Yeah.
And he's one of the top men. But he's up Yorkshire somewhere, South Yorkshire.
Oh yeah, it is right
Yeah.
up. No, yeah.
But he says, but as soon as he says the latest I fruit is mid-August, I thought, well, that's no good to me anyway.
Yeah.
So I just said, thanks for your time, and if I'm ever up that area, I'll come and say I do.
Yeah, well, like I say, I just got all the names of them and done a lot of chasing about to see if I can find any. And I thought it was a bit of a closed shop, like, you know.
Yeah. But they are still trialing the cells with different varieties. Because the ones I've got now, they're newish, say the last couple of years or something.
Yeah.
Which are later than what they used to be. Because mid-August is late for a bloody goosebump. So a couple of years' time, we might get there.
Yeah, what did I find? I thought I found some. What did I do with all my notes and bloody things? But not to worry, not to worry.
Yeah.
Anyhow, that was my input for this week anyway. So you know.
This lot like you got it in the photo we're on now.
Yes.
Do you moisten that at all? Or is that just
well,
or do you get the moisture through chopping?
No, the actual the food waste is as it prepares it, like, you know, the offcuts. But the actual wood shavings, it's in a, well, like I said, one of them blue barrels cut in half, so I've got 100 litres of it. So when I'm doing any planing, I'll just put it up and shovel it in there. But where I've got, well, I did have, because I've used it all today, I got a barrel with about 150 litres of liquid horse muck in it, right? That I keep stirring every now and again. So what I've done is I've just run a couple of bucketfuls off of that and tipped it into the 100 litres with the wood shavings in it and just stirred it up with a fork. So it's wet. It is that wet in actual fact that it does drip out the end of that barrel, you know, like the first picture there was sort of one in the top and one in the bottom, but obviously it lays on its side, so it does drain out and it does drip out. So it is that wet. The sawdust is that wet. So when I put it on its side and turn the handle to do whatever to mix it all up, yes, you do get the drainings off of it, like, you know. But the other, like I say, I run out of my liquid horse muck today, because where there's not been that many lawn mowings about this year, and the other compost thing that I do, where I layer it with wood chips, lawnmower cuttings, horse muck, then wood shavings, then grass cuttings, and do it all out like that. So I've got 2 heaps. What I've done is I got a trailer load. The lady down at the stables, or one of the stables in the next village, she bags and puts it out for free of charge for everybody to take away her horse muck. So I suggested, if I drop you a little trailer up there, instead of having the aggravation of bagging it, you can fill my trailer up for me. So that's what I've done. So I just got about a cubic metre of fresh horse muck, and of course the fresh stuff, it's still high nitrogen in it. So what I've done to top these 2 muck heaps up, or compost heaps, is to do it like horse muck, wood shavings, to fill them up. And then I went back to my barrel and put about 50 litres of the liquid horse muck and poured over the top of the compost heaps, like to actually put a lot of nitrogen into the wood chips. And then I've put 4-inch insulations on top of them, and then plastic sheet over that to keep the weather out. The other day, the latest one, I've got it up to 60 degrees, but then since then I've put I don't know, about another 10 barrel loads of stuff on top. You know, I'd only half filled it, and I've just stuck the thermometer in just for the hell of it, just to see what temperature I'd got. So that was up to that, and then they're both topped up and covered up now, but both of them heaps will not be used until 2024, providing I'm still fit enough to do something with it. Because the other 2, I've got 4. It's a 4 bay composter, if you like. Each bay is 1.5 cubic metres. So there's always some coming on and some whatever. So, and of course you lose it all anyway, don't you? Because you might start with 1.5 metres when it's fresh, but at the end of the year, you're lucky to get about 3/4 metre out of each one, ain't you? So, you know, I've got about a cubic metre and a half ready for this coming year. Plus I've got 350 litres of worm casts. I don't know how much, well, I've got an unlimited amount, so I would think I've probably got over 2 cubic metres of coir. And then about a cubic metre of used peat compost. So between the lot of it, it'll all be mixed together, and that's what I use for growing in this coming year.
That's it all good ingredients.
Well, that's what I do. And then, of course, last year or this year, I watered with comfrey juice. That's the stuff. That's the chips and all that in it. Right. Or wood shavings they are from the planer. This year I used a lot of comfrey juice and nettle juice, but I think I'm going to have a fair prop at doing the aerated compost tea as well. So with it this coming year, just to see for the hell of it.
You've got to try it on.
You know, and that's what I do. As long as I can keep winning me runner beans and me carrots in the shows, I'm happy.
Well, I'm all good brews, you know, all natural products. So you've got to trial and error, haven't you?
Well, it is. And this year, or this coming year, like them cloth bags that you put up a little bit earlier, because I've got loads of them. One of the competitions that we have in the October. It's 12A competition. It's a potato competition. Who can grow the biggest weight of potatoes? And this coming year, I've talked them into everybody using the same size. So I'm going to supply them all with them bags to grow the potatoes in for the competition.
Yeah.
Instead of them all growing different. And I'm tempted, if I can make enough of it, to give them all about 10 litres of biochar to go in there as well. There's only about 15 of us do this competition.
Yeah.
And I'm toying with the idea of giving them all about 15 litres of biochar to mix with whatever compost they want, just to see if we can get the weights up in the competition.
Oh, real?
But there it is, It's a little gardening club, same as yours.
Busted. Lovely, Rowley.
Okie dokie. Catch everybody another day with
Good man.
another bit I can bore them to tears with.
Right, cheers, Roland.
Here's
Excellent.
all.
What happened to him? I told him he was right and that it was my fault.
Yeah.
Right, my mate, rung us up, when was it? Thursday morning. You're supposed to, Darren Rudge, he's a good lad. He's known as the Laughing Gardener. He's on Radio WM, I think he is on the mornings. He does landscaping as well, but he gives talks all over the place. He should have been talking here up Fairfield. This was Thursday, but he rung up Thursday. And he was dying, he got bloody COVID. Jobbed him. He said, do us a favour. I can't get in touch with the chap. He won't answer the phone or nothing. Just say, I'll call Mickey. So he says, will he go on my behalf? So I did, helped him out. This is Fairfield Village Hall, near Bromsgrove, not too far from us. This is where the National Veg Society West Midlands branch have their meetings. I used to be chairman of the place. Till I finished. Fairfield Village Hall. So I tried to get in touch with myself. I had the same problem as Darren. Left a message, get back to me. Just make sure that they wanted me basically. And I was supposed to give a talk on composting. Well, that's what I put my brain to it. But when I got there was 3 lads, one there, 2, they must have been getting a cup of tea behind me. They'd had me composting talk at Bewdley. When I get a talk at Bewdley about a month ago. This is, we had that talk down there. I thought, well, they're not giving me raised beds and no dig talk. So I'll give them that talk. Go back on that one. When I get the talk, I always say, right, going through, if you've got a bad memory, you've got to ask a question, just shout out. Or if you've got a good memory, wait to the end and we go through the Q&As then. And at the end, there was this one chap. He said, you've got to have loads of way to do what you do with the raised beds, watering, and I said, no, that's why you use a mulch. Straw, just keeps the moisture in, top dressing. And he couldn't get it through his brain. He says, now I'll just dig a trench like my father did years ago. And I'll just throw everything in and grow everything through it. You've got to dig. I've just finished double digging. I says, you do what you want. If it works for you, then you do it. I says, I ain't dug for 20 odd years. That's why worms were invented. And he just stuck in his ways, basically. Everything I said, he argued against. He says, trenches have been proved. I says, I know that. A raised bed is a trench upside down. And it stuck him for a bit. You could see his brain trying to come back or something, and he couldn't. And this couple come up after and says, he's stuck in his ways. I says, and I answered, I said, stubborn bugger. I says, oh, you just get him to move on and basically move with the times. But everybody else enjoyed it. So it turned out a good night. That was the end. That's me flogging me stuff, obviously.
Yeah.
Sandra Orr, who was there and all as president of National Veg Society now. I've always got on well with Sandra. Still talk to her. Not got it was I get her a kiss when I went in. Or is a good egg, Liz? Tanked through, obviously, I've come out the MVS. It's her boss. But it was good to see her again. That's why I finished with these lot here. Come out the MVS all together. 2 tickets, always have a go on the raffle. And I want some pickled onions, some elephant garlic. So I also get 2 of our new members as well. Put elephant garlic in, hopefully grow from our show. Right, this is down Craigleith. This is Dunn's. Illustrators, I think they am. Well, they do printing and whatever. This is just a company. This is what Ben does. He finds different places in the area. And he goes, it's just the gaffer has a word with him. And basically, this is in their entrance to the foyer. And there's your Cradley print, Cradley itself, and everything that goes on in there. So he has a print of them, and he says, and I'll put your company in the print, and that's what he's done. So if we zoom in, there it is, Dunn's Imaging. And he says, if you want, I'll bung you on it, and there's the gaffer. And them chuffed to bits. And that's it, guys and gals.
Thank you very much, mate. It's been good.
Hope you've enjoyed it.
Very good.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers,
Just an
mate.
hour or so.
Thanks, Mick.
Lovely.
Sent you a message, Mick, on Facebook.
Here's Mick.
I'll have a look, Colin.
All right,
Yeah,
mate.
Dennis. Anybody
Bye.
got any photos for next week?
I'll have a look.
Somebody asked me out for us out for a meal again next Sunday, and I didn't say. Cheers. I didn't say stick it. I got a Zoom. I said no. I can't afford it. I'm getting too bloody. So there'll be a Zoom next week.
Okay.
Right, mate.
All right.
So anybody with any spare photos? Let's have them.
I'm away next week, Mick, but maybe the week
Okay,
after
Scott.
I'll do it. Yeah. All right,
Okay, mate.
mate. All right, Mick. Cheers for that, Mick.
No probs.
See ya.
Bye.
See you soon.